Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 5, Round 14 for the 5th Pocono 250, second leg of the Triple Crown as this season gets closer and closer to being decided. A lot is on the line here today, a lot of money this could help out a lot of teams and points on the table towards the championship. So let's go through your starting grid for today's race. All alone in row 14 is the double zero of Glubler Lore. He finished well here last season though, so maybe he'll be able to charge through the field, but going to be starting all the way in dead last in 27th. Row 13 on the outside is the 53 of McStinkle. He's won a Triple Crown race before, but hasn't won at Pocono, has only raced here twice. And then to his inside is the 77 of Stingray Rob, looking to make up some points. Row 12 on the outside is the 94 of Dawa Tenzin, Team Canada Dry's first Pocono 250, as they joined right after this last season. And then it's the 37 of Miles Rowe on the inside, who ran pretty well at Pocono last season. And Eventide Racing got the win, so look for him to try to move forward. Row 11 on the outside is the 75 of Devlin D. Francesco, and then to his inside is the 49 of Francesco Draconi. Going to be starting deeper in the field than he would have wanted. Needs to make up a lot of points to try to get into the Rookie of the Season battle once again. Starting down in 21st is going to be a pretty big ask. To row 10 on the outside is the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan. And then to the inside is the 29 of Benjamin Peterson, qualified lower than he would have wanted. Has work to do today. Row 9, also two drivers that qualified lower than they would have wanted. Guy Gagne going to be starting all the way back in 18th, and then to his inside is the 04 of David Malukas. Got a podium here last season on his late season charge. Row 8 is Team Egg's teammates Ethan Martz on the outside and Lawless Allen on the inside. And then row 7 on the outside, Lowest Swindlers of the Immortals driver in qualifying. It's Louis Foster. He's really struggled to get up to pace in qualifying on the ovals, but he's raced all right. And then to his inside is the 18 of Robbie Lore, starting from 13th. Up to row 6 on the outside, it's the 47 of Lindsey Brewer. Ran a top 5 race last season. Then Brennan Hubbard on her inside ran a top 10 race last season. So with another race under their belts, expect for them to be competitive. As row 5 on the outside, I believe, is your only Pocono 250 winner in the field. It's Alessio Deletta starting in 10th. Then to his inside, it's second in points, Nolan Siegel, down by 70 points. Gonna need to make up some track position to get back into that fight. As row 4 on the outside, rookie Carlos Huertas in his best qualifying effort so far in his career. And then Ryan Preece on the inside probably should have won last season, but ran out of fuel late in the going and couldn't make it back up. Row 3 on the outside, your points leader Shane Van Gisbergen, but Pocono has never been kind to him. He starts from 6th today, so what can he do here? And then to his inside is the 43 of Dorian Pinn, just broke into the top 10 in points coming off a podium at New Hampshire. Row 2 is Silly Men Racing teammates. Marcus Armstrong on the outside ran really well here last season. Then Chet Jordan on the inside. Not been one of his best tracks, but he'll be starting from third. As the front row, New Hampshire winner Justin Allgaier, he won from pole. He's going to be starting second today, but Connor Zilich gets his first pole of the season at Pocono, down in 6th in points, not out of the championship fight yet. Speaking of championship fight, you can see it on the right side, Van Gisbergen. His lead was about 100 points going into New Hampshire, but finishing in last has cut that down to 70. Louis Foster down by 83. Armstrong could have made up a lot of points, but he spun out down to 97. And then Justin Allgaier with the win shoots up to 5th. He is over 100 points out. Team standing Swindlers of the Immortals still have won almost every event besides like 3. So they're looking pretty good as we are racing in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, 2.5 miles For 100 laps, that's 250 miles. Sim time is August 2nd. So, right in the middle of the summer, take a look at the track. Turn 1 is the highest banked on the track, modeled after Trenton. And then you've got the Long Pond straightaway down into Turn 2, modeled off of Indianapolis. You can almost take it flat in some cases, but not all times. And then turn 3, it's the widest turn but the flattest turn, modeled after Milwaukee, pretty close to what we raced last week at New Hampshire. So gonna have to see if the drivers that did well there do well here. So interestingly, usually whenever cars decide to do a pit lane start, it's only about 5 or so. This time it's most of the field. If you go back to about, I don't know, I think it's your top 13 did not pit. Almost everyone in the top 10, I believe everyone in the top 10, and then a couple outside, Hubbard, Malukas, and Tenzin, did not pit. But back to Robbie, Allen, Gagne, Peterson, and that could be a difference in the race. Once we get into the fuel stints, you gotta do about 33 laps for 2 stops. Yellows can help, but we only got 2 last season, 1 in turn 2, 1 in turn 3. If you take a look at the weather really quickly, 77 degrees, 0 mile per hour wind. It is completely clear, not a cloud in the sky, complete opposite of what we had last season, where it was foggy. It's pretty hard to see, actually. So already some strategy in place. Connor Zilic, first pole of the season, second pole for Viking Racing. Only one win for the team this season came from Nolan Siegel at Zandvoort. As we are green here in Pocono. The field already into rows of 2 as Chet Jordan already slides into second. There were some breakaway drafts in the last race here as Chet Jordan, he's not going to be waiting. He is going for the lead. Started from third, already up to first. Clean through the first lap so far. Now into turn 3. Ryan Preece up a good few spots. He is up to 5th, and he nearly won here last season, so look for him to be competitive again. Dorian Pinn now trying to go for second as Zilic back on the inside. Jordan has the long way around. Now, steady reminder that leading means you don't have to lift as much and you can take it flat. And you'd think that'd be best, but when it comes to fuel saving, that will burn the most. So these two may try to swap as much as they can, which will help each other. Even though they're rivals in this race, it still may be in their best interest to swap the lead. Already a few laps in. No incidents to start this race off. We didn't see one till about 30 laps in last season, and then we saw one with about 15 to go. But right now, the top 3 breaking away, that's Zilic, Jordan, and Pinn. None of these guys have a win on the season. Ryan Preece has found his way up to 4th. Allgaier's dropped down to 5th. David Malukas has cut his way up to 7th. Yes, not pitting gave him some spots, but still he's made up a good few spots on his own. But Nolan Siegel's going to go around the outside and get the position there. Zilic leads. Here comes Jordan down into turn 2. The tunnel turn. Very high in the turn for Zilic. As Dorian Pinn now up to 2nd. Right as I said, Lucas was up into 8th. He's dropped all the way down to 11th. That's how quick things can change as Lawless Allen going to go around the outside. As Dorian Pin now looking for the lead. No laps led in this race, but she's now in the lead. Hasn't led much at all this season, as Justin Allgaier has caught up to the group out in front. Priest is now nearly 2 seconds back. The more they battle with each other, the more they're going to fall behind. It's not over for them at all because pit stops, any threat of yellow as Zilich and Jordan are side by side going down the front stretch. Already many lead changes to start this race. I believe last season may have had the most lead changes in a race ever. It was either here or at Auto Club. I think here with just how the straightaways are, it gives chances for multiple lead changes a lap. As Chet Jordan, big loose coming out of turn 3, and he's going to drop down to 4th. May give a chance for Ryan Priest to maybe get a little bit of a draft off him. A second back, but that can still be enough to get a draft. He's got Huertas trying to battle him. Robbie Lohr in the top 10. Armstrong's dropped down to 9th. Dan Gisbergen in 10th. Nolan Siegel has dropped all the way down to 17th. Having a rough go at things so far. As Dorian Pin now going to take the lead in turn 3. Famous text in turn 3. What turn 4? It's called the Tricky Triangle for a reason. Already looking highly competitive. As now Swindlers of the Immortals teammates take the lead. This team has just been dominant this season, has won nearly every event, outside of just a couple. Those being Michigan, Zandvoort, and Motegi, I believe, are their only losses this season, which is incredible. Allgaier and Zilich down into the tunnel turn. They've built 2 Whoa, Pin with a huge slide exiting the tunnel turn. Priest kinda was closing in on Jordan, but now Armstrong gonna go by. Armstrong and Priest and Zilich swapped the lead many a times between the three of them last season, and yet none of them got the win. So no matter how big of a breakaway Allgaier and Zilich have, it could all go away as Pin is starting to lose contact with them after that huge slide, but should be able to draft right back up. Now down by about 8/10. Jordan 2 seconds back from her, Priest about a second back from Jordan, and then there's another gap after Armstrong in 8th down to Robbie in 9th, because they're 3 wide back there. Van Gisbergen right in the middle of it. Pocono never been one of his strong tracks, and it's showing again. His main championship rival at the moment, Nolan Siegel, not doing much better. Foster, third in the championship, is all the way back in 23rd. Not having a good run at things so far. Back with Lindsey Brewer not doing well like we expected her to do. And Stingray and McStinkle off the back. Allgaier leads at the line. They have lost Dorian Pin. She's dropped pretty far back, about 1.3 seconds. And Jordan is about to be swallowed up by Priest and Armstrong. They've kind of built their own gap from the 99 of Hubbard and the 7 of Huertas. So the groups are just going to change throughout the day as we figure out who's quick and who's not. Van Gisbergen is all the way down to 20th if you look at the timing tower. Pocono's never favored him. But Priest has now closed in on Chet Jordan. Maybe gonna try and see if they can get a breakaway, but Chet Jordan, also known for not being good on his tires. Tire wear is important here. How tight some and flat some of these turns are. Is Priest gonna rocket by into 4th? Dorian Pin all by herself, about 1.5 seconds back from the leaders. Zilich with about 3/10 of a lead over Allgaier, but that won't last. You're rarely going to see one car succeed by themselves. Priest and Jordan are kind of getting the breakaway from Priest's old group with Hubbard, Armstrong, and Huertas. Priest looks like one of the best cars out here today. Team Eggs winless in Season 5, Ryan Priest winless in Season 5. So close to a second championship last season, just hasn't looked like it this season. Right now has a good run going. Yeah, you really got your top 8, and then once you get out of here, it just becomes a blob of everyone else. Triconi and Deletta leading at that in the front of this group. Robbie right behind. Then you go back to Malukas, Siegel, Tenzin, and Van Gisbergen and Foster are all, whoa. DiFrancesco and Peterson very close together exiting the tunnel turn. Van Gisbergen just keeps going backwards. Zilich has kind of gotten out to a little bit of a gap, half a second lead. Again, that's still just not going to last with how long these straightaways are. Pin 2.4 seconds back. And then Jordan and Priest have gotten about 1.5 seconds up from Armstrong. Back here in 6th, he's with Huertas and Hubbard. Pit stops could be the difference today. That is, if it stays green. Now a reminder that these two are going to be burning a lot of fuel. Dorian Pin is especially burning a lot of fuel being all by herself. These two going to be burning a good bit as well. Really, I don't think until you get to this group with 3 cars that you're going to see a lot of fuel saving. Right now it'd be Hubbard in pretty much max fuel saving mode. Allgaier going to slingshot by into turn 1. Ryan Priest still gaining time on Dorian Pin. These two continue to swap. We are about 19 laps into the race. Many laps still left to go. Eagle back into the top 10 with David Malukas. So they have 3 seconds to catch up to anybody, but with how many cars there are here, it's going to be tough to move forward. Louis Foster all the way down in 24th now. It's just not getting going for him today. Van Gisbergen down in 18th. Pin now 3 seconds behind the leaders. Jordan 1.7 seconds back. They're not making much time on Pin here. It's been about even. Let's go on board with Marcus Armstrong. You're about to see, I believe, Hubbard try to slingshot by. Not quite into turn 1. As there you go, there goes the 99. Just listen to how he has to lift in some of these turns. Meanwhile, Zilich up at the front. As time goes by, he's going to be closing in on the back of the field. Here's a overhead shot from the blimp. Really get a sense of how big this track is. Now the blimp is over at turn 3. Look at how long that front stretch is. That's Zilich. Allgaier in second. Pin down in third. Priest in fourth. Chet Jordan in fifth. Armstrong sixth. Hubbard seventh. Eighth, Huertas. Ninth is currently Deletta. 10th, Draconi. 11th, Siegel. And 12th, Gagne. The Viking racing all around the top 10. Man, these two just even into every turn as we have an issue. The 04 is stopped. And that is going to be our first yellow flag of the day. There is damage. And this is bad luck for the 04. So going into turn 2. Oh! Contact with the 19. See if we can go to the helicopter view, and he's still on the wall. This is close to what happened to Deletta last year, so you're gonna go. He's on the outside going into turn 2. Siegel's gonna go to the inside. He's pretty high in the turn. Malukas gonna drift up, but Siegel all the way up. Both cars gonna go into the wall here. But the 04 gonna come out of it the worst. Let's go on board with him. Some bad luck for Malukas, had a good run going. And you can see that suspension is not how it should be, and into the wall again in turn 3. That's going to be the deal breaker. So Zilich, the leader at the time of caution. That's going to bring everyone back together. Right now we are on lap 25 of 100. It's going to be tough to make it to the end from here. but I think you're going to see everyone come in. Except for a couple. Ethan Mart's going to stay out. Robbie Lohr, Lindsey Brewer, and Mahavir Raghunathan. Your four cars that decide to stay out. And this is an early pit stop. I said you want to go to about 33. As Zilich goes all the way to the end, we're going to see who wins the race off pit road. Zilich comfortably, but Allgaier loses a few spots. Jordan and Armstrong lose a good amount of spots. Pin jumped up to second, Hubbard third, Huertas fourth, Allgaier fifth, Priest sixth, Jordan seventh, Armstrong eighth, Deletta ninth, and Draconi in 10th. Sicily Men Racing, not a good pit stop sequence from them there. So David Malukas is out of the race. Nolan Siegel, I don't think had to pit long for repairs, so I think he was generally fine. But now you have some new cars up at the front. 76, 18, 47, and 54. All have not pit. All pit earlier for the race. One lap to green. Only a little over a quarter of the way through the race. So it's going to be interesting to see how the cars at pit going to blow by these cars. They're trying to get to 33 to make sure that they can get home on 2 stops. Everyone that did pit, they're going to have to stretch to make make sure that they can get home on just one more stop. It's going to be pretty tough. I don't even know if that would be possible. So you want to try to get to about 64, 65 with where they pit. It's doable, but man, it's going to be a huge stretch, and being out front is not going to help. As 76 of Ethan March going to lead us back to green. Coming up on third of the way home, but still plenty of racing left. 76 leads us into turn 1, followed by the 18, 47, and 54. Village back in 5th. He's going to be trying to close in. Allgaier already peeking to the inside to try to pass some guys. March still up at front. Zilich going to try and go around the outside of the 54 in turn 3. Not going to be able to carry the speed, so still back here. Martz leads the full first lap after the restart. Van Gisbergen, I tell you, he's all the way back here in 23rd, right in the Hornets' nest. Not a good pit stop sequence from him, and an even worse restart. Top four still the same, no movements, but they have started to get close together. As right as I say that, Raghunathan to the inside of Brewer, and into third, onto the podium places. Zilich in pin, fifth and sixth, and they have gapped Allgaier down in seventh by a considerable margin. And they don't need to push as much now as they have these guys to help them as Raghunathan going for the lead. Zilich and Pin battling at the back of this group. But yeah, these guys 2 seconds ahead of Allgaier, Priest, Hubbard already. Jordan's dropped back a good amount. He's down to 15th. Raghunathan gonna lead lap 31. But plenty of racing still to settle the ending of this as March goes to the inside on his old teammate. Not going to get there. 54 still out in front. Lindsey Brewer in second. Always seems to work well on the strategy, whether it be road courses or ovals. Could this be another upset victory for her? As look at the 76 all the way to the inside. Zilich starting to move his way forward. Three seconds ahead of the group behind. They are running 2 by 2 by 2, 3 rows deep. The inside's going to prevail coming off turn 3 with the 76 and Martz getting a big lead. Everyone on the outside has the better run here as the 54 is already going to swing to the inside and take his lead back. That didn't last long, and all this battling is allowing this group to start to close back in. 2.8 seconds, it was just 3.2. As now Lindsey Brewer up in front. The group that stayed out are now in the window to pit. You're going to be looking at them pitting soon, but they're all going to stay out for now. Want to try and make as much as you can, so you don't have to take as much at the end of the race. Here comes Raghunathan back to the inside. Looking very racy. Just everyone in this group. Zilich and Pin still have not gotten back to the lead, and Martz and Robbie have started to lose the draft just a little bit. This Brewer looks very strong out here in front, but she's going to come in now, followed by all 4 that did not pit. So they made it about 35 laps, which is pretty good. So Pin and Zilich all by themselves, 2.6 seconds ahead of Priest. Allgaier side by side into turn 1. So these guys, they're going to come out just a little bit up the road. 10-second pit stops. These are long stops. They're going to come out like right in front of the leaders. Maybe just a bit ahead. Brewer, Raghunathan, Martz, and Robbie. Robbie's, as there are the leaders, Pin and Zilich side by side into turn 1. So some lapped cars that were just with them on the lead lap To be right there. Dorian Pin has not won with Swindlers of the Immortals yet. This could be a big day for her if she could get it done. Meanwhile, Louis Foster has made his way back into the top 10. So, the 10 car is starting to find some pace here, but the number 1 is still struggling. They've now lapped the 76 and the 18. Ragunathan and Brewer still on the lead lap. Not far ahead, 2.5 seconds between the 9 and the 43 and the 14 and 64. They're going to blow by Robbie here going into turn 3. But these guys, with where they pit at 28. You take 100 minus 28, and you get 72. By 2, you get 36. Add that to 28. You gotta get to about lap 64. Right now they are on 38, as Zilich now gonna go by Brewer, as Dorian Pin has kind of lost him just a little bit, as she's still back behind the 54. But they're gonna clump back together. What Zilich wants to do here is take off with the 47. Easier said than done. But 64 is the target. It would show on the tower 67 as an additional 3 laps were added for pacing to make sure the grid is set up right. As here comes Pin going back to the lead, not at the line, but going into turn 1. Banshees of Little Miami cars starting to move forward. Huertas in 6th, Draconi in 7th, Deletta in 8th. Jet Jordan, he's fallen back a good bit. He is down to 13th, Armstrong in 10th. Not a lot of movement forward from these guys as Foster got really close to the wall exiting turn 2. Hubbard leads the others. Priest and Allgaier down to 2 seconds behind Pin and Zilich. They still have a load of lap cars to get through. Gotten by the 18 and the 76. They'll be closing in on the 54 next. Side by side for the lead up here. The gap is 1.5 seconds now between the second group and the first group. Allgaier has gotten away from Priest just a little bit after linking up to the 54 car. The Priest is going to have to get by the 54 rather quickly. Try to link back up with Allgaier. He's lost about a second here as Allgaier and Pin are now battling. So it's back to a 3-car battle up at the front. Priest side by side with Ragunathan, about 1.7 seconds back. Now the 2 Swindlers cars in the lead, Zilich down here in 3rd. Can't let them get away from him. Right now he's losing time. Pin to the inside of teammate Allgaier. Coming close to halfway at this point. Zilich is starting to lose the top two. About 1 second back. Pin has gotten to about 7/10 ahead of Allgaier. At this point, tire wear going to be more and more important to these guys. Zilich really needs to try to break free of that 47. And if the 64 starts battling, that's going to help Zilich try to close back in. The Priest makes quick work of Lindsey Brewer. Now going to slingshot around Zilich for third. Big moves from the 64 here. Chasing down Swindlers of the Immortals, going to be tough to do. Got about a second to work with. And now if a yellow flag came out, Lindsey Brewer would be getting the lucky dog. She'd get back on the lead lap. Ragunathan, Martz, and Robbie would be in tough situations. Armstrong has worked his way up into ninth. So he's starting to move back forward. Chet Jordan in 13th. Van Gisbergen starting to find a little bit of pace. He's up to 15th, but pretty considerable distance behind the cars in front. Then you get back to the 53, 00, and 77. Still chugging on. As the top four, I think, are going to start linking up. As Allgaier got away from Pin. And Pin, being that far back, has allowed a draft to the number 9. If 64 goes for a pass here, they could fall back behind, but it looks like as they go side by side up here, they're going to link back up. Dorian Pin in the lead. Allgaier just 2 tenths ahead of Zilich as here he goes, looking for second. Priest has not been in the front group all day today. Maybe this is his time to shine. These two side by side for second. Don't think there's any real conceivable way that Pin could get away even if they are side by side. Priest hanging on back there in fourth. Zilich has found his way back up into second, and he's going to be looking for a lead here. Into turn 1. They've still got nearly 15 laps before they need to pit. Laps, that's going to be, nearly 40 laps. It is going to be tough to get to the end for these guys. So they're cheering on a yellow. But the guys that pit earlier, Brewer, Ragunathan, Martz, and Robbie, they hope to God that there isn't a yellow, or else they get stuck a lap down. Risky, but if it works, as Priest now going for second. Hasn't led a lap today. Maybe this is the chance. 25 lead changes on the day. As you just saw the graphic change on who was the leader, as Priest gonna start slipping back here. Big twitch from Allgaier. He's gonna get onto the curb as he is going to pit now. He cannot go any further. So very, very short on fuel. Deletta and Draconi gonna come in as well. So how many laps was that? About 26. So they might be going for a 3-stopper and just sticking with that. We're gonna have to see how they come out with the 47 and the 54, but they might be in the clear here. As yellow flag is out right then and there, and that is going to help these guys significantly as there is it's the 99 of Brennan Hubbard in trouble. Oh, and this is a big one. Contact with the 7, and the 33 is just barely going to get through here. Martz into the fence. Let's take a look at that again from a different angle, because that was a lot that just happened. Okay, so contact with the 99 and the 7. Somehow Armstrong finally going to have some good luck. He's going to barely skate through there. Look at the 76, just going to ramp off the 99 and into the catch fence. Car's destroyed. Take a look at it again. I was a little late on the contact. Yeah, Hubbard just going to close in on Huertas. There's going to be some contact to that number 7. Let's go on board with Martz here, as he's going to have some cars stacked up behind him. Jordan, Gagne, and Peterson. I was late on that. As Dorian Pin came in to the pits on the next lap, I don't know if she came in while the pits were closed. As Zilich's going to come in here, Brewer going to get the lucky dog. But Pin is all the way back in 19th now. But did pit. That confirms about 1 stop to the end from here. About 25. So I think Draconi may have had some issues as well. It looked like he may have clipped the number 7. He's pretty far behind. But Zilich going to come out ahead of Priest, Foster, Armstrong, Allen, Huertas, Tenzin, Siegel. That's an interesting top 10. Some guys back here, long stops, had some contact. I think Chet Jordan had a little bit of contact at the end of it, having to slam on the brakes as this is a long stop for him. Deletta unfortunately gets stuck 1 lap down there. Gunathan, Robbie, Draconi are all 1 lap down. Chet Jordan gonna get back going. Martz is in pit lane, so they may try and send that car back out. I can definitely tell you the 99 is done. 20 cars on the lead lap here. As Dorian Pin is gonna have to be at the tail end of the line. She came in when the pits were closed. That's just bad luck for her. She was having a good run. And then Brewer will be behind her as she got the lucky dog. So 20 cars on the lead lap. It's a pretty safe 1-stopper to the end. 2 yellow flags on the day. Allgaiers led 12 laps Zilich has led 26. I don't think Priest has led any. No, Martz, he led a few. He led 6. Raghunathan led 2. And Pin led 8. And Jordan led 3. So a couple lapped cars up here in the mix. Luckily for guys like Van Gisbergen, all the chaos has cycled him forward. He's up to 11th. Going back green this time. A lot of laps, a lot of daylight still left in this. Some drivers got unlucky. Some drivers got lucky. Allgaier cycles back to the lead. As here we go. Green flag is back out once again here at Pocono. A multi-car accident taking out the 76, the 99. I think 7 might be okay. He's still up here in 7th. As Deletta, a lap down, a previous winner here, wants to be in the lucky dog position. Louis Foster, he's made his way up to 4th. Armstrong in 5th. They've lapped cars in between them. Don't want to let the leaders get away. Right now, we have 3 cars that have kind of broken away up here. Priest back here with Raghunathan. That's gonna hurt. Armstrong with Foster. Robbie not too far behind him. They've kind of broken away from the cars behind them. As Deletta nearly takes it 3 wide. Zilich is going to go back to the lead in turn 2. So only 1 stop needed to get to the end of this race. It's just whenever you want to take it. The window will open probably at about, honestly, you could probably go 65, but that'd be pushing it. I'd really wait to at least 70. 75 if you want to split the tires, if you want to go as long as possible and have the best tires at the end and avoid yellow flags, you would go for about 80, maybe 85. But a lot still left to go. Allgaier and Zilich have gapped. Deletta just a bit. Allgaier kind of gapped Zilich. Foster and Armstrong still battle for the top 5. Armstrong lucky to still be here. He's had bad luck, but for once, the last few races, the racing gods look favorably upon him. Van Gisbergen has carved his way up to 7th, and he's got 2nd in the championship right behind him. And right in front of Van Gisbergen is Huertas, but in front of him is 3rd and 4th in the championship. Armstrong and Foster side by side. Here comes a 14 to the inside. He's back to the lead. They've got about 1.6 seconds up on Preece. And then behind him is Foster and Armstrong. And then you've got a couple lapped cars of Deletta and Draconi. I believe Draconi is 2 down. Nah, he's just 1 down. Just the furthest back of those 1 down. There's a lot of guys 1 lap down. Foster and Armstrong side by side. Zilich and Allgaier were side by side. Less than 40 laps to go. Jet Jordan has carved his way nearly back into the top 10. So he's looking pretty hot right now. Armstrong and Foster lead 3 lapped cars. Banshees of Little Miami didn't get the best luck through that yellow flag cycle. Deletta and Draconi both got stuck a lap down as they came in near the back of the field and ended up getting lapped right before the yellow flag came out, while Allgaier got to stay ahead and then jumped the field. He and Zilich continue to battle. Armstrong going to be closing in on Preece here for 3rd. As Dorian Pin has made her way up to 6th. Whoa, that got very close between the 14 and the 9. Nearly both leaders went out in one go. But Pin has made her way up to 6th after getting stuck at the back of the field for pitting under a closed pit. She has about 2.5 seconds in front of her, filled with lapped cars to really do anything, but she has teammate Shane Van Gisbergen right behind. Behind them is Jordan, Huertas, and DeFrancesco. Miles Rowe having a good day as well. As we have a yellow flag once again. This time it's going to be Lawless Allen. And he is done for the day on the inside of turn 1. But this one may have... Oh, it looks like... Oh, contact with Chet Jordan. Gonna send him into the wall going down the front stretch. Gonna have to get a better view. Oh, just ran out of room. So Jordan kind of already pushed him up earlier in the turn. Allen held his line and Jordan just kept coming up. That's going to send the 92 into the wall. That is unfortunate. An unfortunate way to end that day. Allen was actually running pretty well. So under 3rd yellow of the day. I assume this is when everyone will do their final pit stops. Ragunathan will get a lap back here for being the lucky dog. Runs in 20th. Robbie, Deletta, Draconi. Gonna be in tough situations here. That brings Brewer and Pin into it. They are on 6th and 7th. They have looked very, very quick. The last few laps, carving their way up through the field from the back. Pin was in like 20th. Brewer in 21st. As everyone's going to come in here. Jonathan going to stay out, but he's going to get the lucky dog. So he'll pit next time by and stay on the lead lap. Zilich going to the end of pit lane. Gonna see who can win the race off pit road here. And it will be 14 of Allgaier, as Priest is gonna beat out Zilich. Zilich gonna drop to third. Then you got a couple lapped cars, Foster in fourth, Pin in fifth, Armstrong in sixth. DeFrancesco having a good day. He is up to seventh, Huertas in eighth, Brewer in ninth, and Miles Rowe rounds out your top 10. Shane Van Gisbergen lost a good few spots. That Jordan lost a few spots. Tenzin up in 11th. Nolan Siegel dropped all the way down to 19th. He's just not looked very strong today. If he wants to make up points, he's going to have to start charging forward. But Allgaier, Priest, Zilich have a little bit of a buffer to Louis Foster down in fourth. So 1/3 of the race left. 3 yellow flags, 30 lead changes. Everyone seems to be pretty safe on fuel number. Gonna be going back to green here. It's not quite safe that everyone's gonna be able to get to the end, as we are only on lap 67, so it's gonna be about a 33, 34 lap stint. That's about the limit of the fuel. Without any yellows, that's gonna be pretty tough to achieve. Allgaier, Priest, and Zilich your top 3. 2 lapped cars in between those top 3, and Foster and Pin, who run 4th and 5th. As let's get ready to go back green. Pace car pull off here. Let's see if this is it. Green flag is back out, and Justin Allgaier leads us to the line. Couple cars already out of line back there. There's a few lapped cars in the middle. Could cause some problems. As here comes Ryan Priest. He hasn't led a lap all day today, as he's going to go to the inside of Allgaier in the tunnel turn. They have about 1.7 second buffer down to Louis Foster, who's battling side by side with Dorian Pin, as Priest is going to lead his first lap of the day. As we have another car in trouble, it is the number 90 of Guy Gagné. Yellows, breed yellows, and we have another one right there. That's going to help these guys be able to get to the end of this race. We'll put Robbie back on the lead lap with the lucky dog. So it's going to be... Oh, he just straight up runs into the back of Benjamin Peterson. Been having a good season in points up to this point, but that was just not very smart. I don't know if he expected him to check up that much or what. I guess he just wasn't expecting it as he's going to go up the track and into the wall in the tunnel turn. Ryan Preece is now your leader under this yellow. Fourth yellow of the day. As I think I was wrong. I think it's going to be Alessio Deletta who's going to get the lucky dog here. 20 cars on the lead lap. As the 76 of Ethan Martz is actually going to get back out there. Try and make up some spots. There's still some room to move up. Now with 99, 92, and probably 90 out of the race. Kind of shocking to see him go back out there, but not like the 04. If he's well off the pace, he might get flagged. But that's only if there's no room for him to move forward. So the 87 gonna get his lap back here. I could see him claw his way up to the front as we see Dorian Pin in fourth after being at the tail end of the field. Lindsey Brewer in eighth with the ebbs and flows. Not unrealistic to get back into this thing. Going to be going back to green here. We are on lap 72. So 29 to the end, 31 lead changes. Been a lot more cautions than we saw last season, but has been just as competitive. 20 cars on the lead lap. We have 4 cars, I believe, are officially classified as out of the race. with that being the 90 of Gagne, the 92 of Lawless Allen, 99 of Hubbard, and the 04 of David Malukas. Some of those guys, like 76, 92, and 04, needed some points today to get into the leader circle. So that's why the 76 of Ethan Martz was sent back out on track, because there's still points to be made up. The top cars are all together now, as the 18 and 49 have been pushed to the back. So everyone you see is on the lead lap, as Ryan Preece going to lead us back to green for the first time today. Been Justin Allgaier most of the times. Gonna have to see how those Swindlers cars of the 43 and 10 go forward. The 33 of Marcus Armstrong, they've looked alive recently, as Allgaier's already got a run going into the tunnel turn. So Ryan Preece going to do a crossover exiting the turn, and he's going to get back to the lead going into turn 3. Bold move from the 64, but shows that he is going to be going for it if that's the aggressive moves he's pulling out now. Trying to break away from the rest of the field. Dorian Pin up to third. Now Zilic going to go around the outside. Didn't keep up with the top two as well on that restart. Priest still hanging on strong here. Didn't win last season. Probably should have. Can he get it done today? He has a big lead coming out of turn 3 this time. Zilic going to be going to the inside of Allgaier. That is a swap for second place. As Priest, he just seems to be exiting turn 3 the best. Allgaier starting to slip back just a little bit. Foster's lost a couple spots since the restart. '64 looking strong. Dilic has led the most laps of today, and he's going to go back to the lead here. And Priest is going to lose out another spot to Allgaier in turn 3. Not going to be able to hang on that as strong that time. But going to get the run off the turn. I'm going to go to the inside going into turn 1. Zilic leads going into the tunnel turn. Here comes the 14 of Allgaier. As Allgaier's going to go back to the lead, Priest follows through into second. Pin has not really made any charges towards the lead yet. Huerta's down by about half a second. Armstrong, another half a second behind him. Now the 76 of Ethan Martz is a little behind. Still has a good amount of spots that he could make up in this race, so he's not going to get flagged. But he does look considerably slower than the rest of the field, as he's already almost half a lap down. Priest goes back to the lead in turn 3. 21 to go. 22. It flipped early. Allgaier goes back to the lead in turn 1. Zilich hanging on right behind. They've dropped Dory and Pin. So could it be a 3-car race to the end? But it seems like 2 has really been the way to go. So could one of these guys get dropped? Don't want to be the 3rd guy out. Reese back to the lead. I'd say he's looked the strongest the last few laps. So we've got 21 laps to go. Reese and Zilich battled for the win last season. Allgaier in his rookie season almost 3 wide into the tunnel turn. Wouldn't have been a wise move. Here comes Zilich coming towards the lead in turn 1. Gonna be interesting once they reach the 76. As I said, he won't be flagged. He can still make up some spots. Gonna go by the 92 and 90 soon. As here comes the number 9 of Connor Zilich. They've kind of dropped Ryan Preece. He is the 3rd car that got shuffled out. As we have another incident. This time it is the 33 and the bad luck continues. He was spared earlier, but not this time. And who was it? Oh, that was on him. He popped out of line. Oh, big hit with the 7. Man, that's gonna sting and probably gonna put a huge damper on his championship hopes. So he's just gonna run into the back of the 43, comes down the track, hits the 7. 7 nearly takes out the 43. That could have been a much more cars taken out in that one. Let's take a look at what the 7 saw. I wouldn't be surprised if he got some damage. Oh yeah, definitely. You can see on the side some side pod damage. Well, now it gets interesting again. 5 cautions on the day. This one with about 18 to go. Coney gonna get the lucky dog here. Man, Robbie has been second to the lucky dog like every single time. Still very much anyone's race. Quick run through the field is Zilich, Allgaier, Preece, Pin, Huertas, Jordan, Brewer, Rowe, DeFrancesco, Foster. That's your top 10. Van Gisbergen just outside in 11th. Ragunathan, Siegel, Peterson, Robb, Deletta, Tenzin, McStinkle, Glubler, and then Draconi gonna get his lead lap. back here. But I think that's going to confirm that the 76 is going to be able to finish out because he could pass the 33 on laps. So going to be an interesting factor. So here we go. Going to be coming to 1 lap to green. We'll be restarting with 15 to go, I believe is the count. Five cars officially out of the race as Armstrong just got added. Still 20 cars on the lead lap. Every time we lose one, we gain one. Only 2 cars laps down. Robbie just 1 lap down in 21st, and Mart's 18 down in 24th. As here we go back to green. Pace car will pull off. 15 laps to decide it. Zilich going to lead us back to green. Maybe this is the season where he gets it done. Got snubbed right at the end last season by the 27. Yuki Tsunoda. The 9, 14, and 64 have been the 3 best cars of today by some margin. 43, don't count out Dorian Pin. She's been strong as well. Still anyone's game. Championship leaders Van Gisbergen and Siegel run 11th and 12th. Haven't had most pace today. Jet Jordan up to 5th. He's also looked fairly strong at points, especially earlier in the race, but has fallen backwards. He had damage earlier on. Allgaier going to pop to the inside going into turn 1 with 14 to go. Zilich going to hang it on the outside. Try and carry the momentum off the turn. Siegel into the top 10 there. Van Gisbergen cycled back to 14th. So here comes Priest with a huge run. The Swindlers of the Immortals unstoppable this season. And can they get another one? Will Viking Racing get their second? Zilich looking for his second win. He only has one. and he's been searching for about 30 races now. Preece winless on the season. Toyota no wins on the season. As here comes Preece on the inside, but Zilich gonna make a late pop. They're gonna dive into the tunnel turn. Zilich in first, Preece in second. Allgaier and Pin drop back. And maybe if these two could get away, it could be settled between the two of them. Allgaier's dropped to about 8/10 back. That's still in drafting range, but that's when the draft starts to weaken. Twelve to go. These guys have about a second lead. Both of them looked so strong last season, but neither of them got the win. This is a season where they can get it done. Staying about 9/10 ahead of Allgaier. But Zilich lost a lot of time there, and that's going to help Allgaier get the draft to get back in it. Zilich 4/10 back. And that's going to allow the 14 and 43 to get back in it. Preece looks very strong up to this point. Zilich has led the most laps in the day. Allgaier with a huge slide exiting the turn. That's going to allow Dorian Pin to get to the inside of him. Teammates battle, and Pin nearly gets squeezed into the grass by her own teammate. Swindlers of the Immortals drivers elbows out here. Foster has dropped all the way down to 14th. Van Gisbergen now into the top 10. Hasn't been there much this race as Preece goes deep into the inside in turn 1 with 10 laps to go. Allgaier back into the picture. He has a run following Zilich. Zilich has the fastest lap on the day. As right now Allgaier going to dive to the inside in turn 1. Zilich going to have the high side. They're just going to have to run off the turn. Turn 1 has the most banking on this track, but still pretty flat compared to a lot of ovals. Preece on the high side in turn 2. Zilich is going to come down and cover Allgaier off. It is a top 3 breakaway. All of these guys, if it stays green like this, and they can make it to the end on fuel, which could still be a factor, probably not with all the yellows that we've had recently. Man, a lot to be determined. Allgaier on the inside not getting that much of a run into turn 2, but just enough to force Zilich up high. And Zilich and Preece both go into the wall. And both of them are slow. Preece is going to get away, but Zilich has slowed significantly. Is he going to be able to get back to the pits? Yes, he will. But that is heartbreak for both the 9 and possibly the 64, as that was huge damage into the side pod. 1.3 second lead for Allgaier, as Zilich is going to have to relinquish all his position. 7 to go. I don't know if Allgaier is going to be caught. 1.4 seconds by himself, 1.5 seconds. The gap keeps growing. I don't think Preece is going to be able to catch Allgaier. I think this might be a back-to-back win. .7 seconds. I think that is it for Ryan Preece. He's now just hoping that the cars behind don't catch him. Back here, Ragunathan in the top 10. Points leaders Van Gisbergen and Siegel side by side. Pin and Jordan battle for a podium up here. Possibly still got second in sight, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to chase down Allgaier at this point unless he gets hung up on that 76, which could be possible as they're going to spin, and that's another accident. Both Silly Men racing cars continue to have bad luck, and all of a sudden the race is wide open once again if we can get back going. Try to shorten this yellow, but Jordan going to get squeezed here by Pin. And that's going to take out the 7, who is having such a strong run today. All hell breaking loose at the end of this race. And we may get 1-2 laps. I am not sure. And all of a sudden, Siegel and Van Gisbergen are in the top 10. Huertas is going to make it back to the pits. Jordan out of the race. Pin might have some damage. Man, Silly Men Racing has not been able to catch a break these last few races. Gonna see if we can get a lap or two. Green Flag Racing back in. Coming to 3 to go. We might get 2 laps possibly. Brees gonna stay out despite possible damage to the side of his car. Not done yet. One lap to green. We're gonna have 2 laps to decide this. Robbie should begin the lucky dog here. It is if he's able to catch up in time. He may not be able to. There goes V18. He's going to be on the lead lap, but not going to have any hope of making up any positions. But here we come. 2 laps to go. Through the gears with 2 to go. This is what it was last season. Justin Allgaier going to bring us back to green. Does Priest or Pin have anything for him? Only 2 laps to decide. Priest is going to stay in the draft here. Can he get a run? Allgaier still looks strong. Priest closing in down the long pond straight. And he's going to try and dive to the inside in turn 2. This is where he had trouble earlier, but he's going to get by. But was that too early? We're going to have to see. Priest out front, coming to the white flag. 4/10 of a lead. 6/10, 7/10. Priest has gotten up to a second ahead as Dorian Pin now closes into second. Allgaier dropping back. Did not get a good restart and is falling. Priest is 7/10 up the road. But if they catch him, he's not going to have any defense. Allgaier and Pin, teammates battle back here. Brewer in fourth looking for a podium. 4/10 now. Can anyone catch the 64? Here we go. Through the final turn. And Ryan Priest, despite the contact, is going to survive and get his first win of the season here at Pocono. Justin Allgaier going to take second, Dorian Pin in third. Shane Van Gisbergen will grow his points lead just a little bit over Siegel, beating him by 1 place, but that's only going to be 2 points gained. Foster in 7th. What a race that was. So Ryan Priest, contact with Zilich, which let's go back and watch that now. How did that even happen? Wasn't that lap? Oh, I think Priest may have come up a bit too early. It wasn't quite clear, and Zilich is going to get pinched into the wall. Zilich not going to be happy about that one. So let's take a look at your final results. Ryan Priest, a little bit of late drama, but he's still going to get the win by 4/10 over Justin Allgaier and Dorian Pin, who nearly repeat last week with a 1-2, but this time it's only going to be a 2-3. Lindsey Brewer, strong result, going to finish in 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen takes 5th. Nolan Siegel 6th. Louis Foster 7th. So all 4 swindlers of the Immortals cars finish in the top 10. That's going to grow their team standings lead. Alessio Deletta in 8th. Devlin DiFrancesco with a good result in 9th. And Ragunathan going to take home a top 10 in 10th place. Through the rest of the grid, 11th is Francesco Giacconi, 12th Stingray Robb, 13th Benjamin Peterson, 14th Tinkle McStinkle, 15th Glover Lore, 16th Dawa Tenzin. Miles Rowe got held up in the final accident, and he's going to fall to 17th. He had a good run today. Robbie Lore going to finish in 18th. Last car in the lead lap, and then everyone else. Huertas 19th, Jordan takes 20th, Zilich 21st, Mart's going to make up some positions in 22nd, Armstrong with another DNF in 23rd, Gagne 24th, Allen 25th, Hubbard 26th, and Malukas 27th. What a dramatic race that was from start to finish. An instant open wheel offline league classic for the second leg of the Triple Crown this season. Up next, we return to the road course as we hit our trip through the Southwest. Up next, we go to Coda, qualifying on Friday, race on Saturday. and I hope to see you guys then.